What's up, guys? It's me again, the guy you downvote into fucking oblivion. I'm just here to spread some words about some things. I got to experience some cool stuff today and some not cool stuff today. So the cool thing was, we had a Javelin that was docked at Port Tressler. Really interesting. We got to explore probably about a good 38-40% of it. It was interesting. I liked it. I had a little bit of fun in it. The only downside was frame rate was garbage over there. For some reason, it was bad. I really wasn't enjoying it, but I was enjoying looking at the interior of the Javelin. It was really interesting. The guns were really cool. Something I will always say about Star Citizen is there's no overlapping textures, there's no clipping models. Everything looks clean and pristine and really well put together. And I can understand because of the length of time they took to actually show this to us and it finally being here. You know, it's well rewarded. It's well received. I liked it. It was enjoyable. One thing I didn't like was we had a Bengal Carrier that showed up. Now I was really excited. I wanted to fly beside the carrier. I wanted to see it. I wanted to kind of like feel like I was flying in the formation that they were doing. And they essentially circle around Tressler and then disappear. Now, as soon as they jumped into system, my frame rate dropped pretty low. And it was very difficult to actually get some good views of this. On top of that, there was a lot of server lag that was happening. So my pilot, who was taking me around, was having difficulties flying. And this wasn't quite fun because we were struggling to see this thing while trying not to crash with the rest of the fleet. Now, I know you guys are going to say, oh, why don't you just sit back, zoom in, and just enjoy the fucking thing passing. No, because I wanted to see it up close. I wanted to see all the details that they did. That thing's fucking huge. It is really neat. It's got a landing strip on the front of it. Jesus Christ, it is so cool. But we really couldn't experience it because the frame rate was so low. It was so laggy. You would move to the right and then you would jitter and stutter. Things wouldn't work properly. Every time I was looking at the damn carrier, it was also vibrating like mad. So it turned a spectacular that was supposed to be cool, supposed to be something really awesome to follow and watch, into a laggy piece of garbage. And this is one of my negative things I want to say is, why do you have this going on during a free event when new players are going to be coming in, free flying with us, and observing this stuff? Why the fuck do you have a Bengal Carrier that is jittering out of its mind in space and causing a lot of frame drop during this time? So that's my one question. Deal with it what you will. Go in the comments and rail me because I don't like the fact that it was laggy. Another thing I was really disappointed about. The Expo. It was RSI today, and I feel like RSI lacks any real substance. And I understand it's different companies each day for 2 days, but there really wasn't much substance to the Expo. I just basically showed up, saw everything, and left. Yeah, I got my jacket, which is supposed to be bound to account later, which is going to be cool. I don't get to lose the jacket like I got from the last Expo. But I was really just kind of let down. The Expo is the same as before. There's nothing new really added other than the holograms. I got to see the Scorpius, which I bitched about in a previous video. I did get to see the Perseus and the Polaris, which were actually really cool, and I like those designs. And I got to see that new Origin buggy, which was kind of interesting. But that was it. The Expo is something you're supposed to bring other people to and see and view all these new different ships that they're going to be coming out with. And I understand that there's a design team which only comes out with a certain amount of ships, and there's a certain amount of resources that they can put towards this. But my actual question is, why is it so empty and devoid of really anything? The one cool thing I really liked that actually displayed a ship that's coming out was the Lightning. And the Lightning was all done in patriotic paint, and it really looked cool. It had an insignia on the side like those old bombers from World War II, and I thought that was a really interesting and neat addition. It was exciting to see it. The only downside is I tried to get myself over the wall to get to it, to try to get into the cockpit, and I couldn't because they had a solid invisible wall there. So that's mostly my fault, but I was really excited to try to see the interior, which they won't let me. Another thing, while I was getting to the Expo, I ended up dying multiple times. There's an ongoing glitch now where if you walk downstairs or upstairs, there's a chance you're going to die. You're going to get your ankles caught, and you're just going to instantly die. It's not really fun to have to fly all the way to New Babbage, land, and then make your way down to the Expo Center, going through different trams, eventually to just walk downstairs and die and have to respawn on the beds and come back. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, that's the status of Star Citizen, just get over it or leave. No, I'm just wondering, CIG just dropped a huge update, and we know these updates come with bugs, and we know these updates come with game-breaking bugs. Why did you release an update before the Expo? Especially days before the Expo, when they could have had a smoothed out, hot fixed game. Instead, there's a lot of people I'm watching, and I even stood there for a little bit. I watched people die on staircases. It's not fun to do that and then have to walk all the way back to go enjoy yourself at supposedly an event that's supposed to be fun. Aside from dying and aside from the lackluster Expo, I still found it somewhat enjoyable. My friend and I ran around, we got to check out some stuff. It kind of felt like a museum / event that was in some sort of giant ass parking lot that I got to see with some food and games and shit. And we did have fun looking at some stuff and kind of talking about the future of what this game has to hold. One of the things I got really excited about was the hospital gear. There was hospital gear on one of the mannequins. It had a blood pressure monitor. It had some drugs and shit on the shoulder. It had some EpiPen looking shit. It was really interesting. And I'm actually excited about that because the hospital and healing tech is my biggest update I'm waiting for. I really want the hospital shit. I'm waiting on the Apollo medevac or the triage so I can get it. I want to fly that fucking thing. And I can't wait till they add the healing stuff. And I found that suit to be a huge billboard to me. I hadn't noticed that suit anywhere. It was the coolest looking thing to me because all I'm used to seeing is just the regular armor, the sci-fi looking getup, the naval gear, and then some clothing. And then you have this undersuit that's white that had some cool little attachments to it that made it look like they're still working and pushing towards a lot of cool medical gear. And I'm very interested to see how some of that stuff works, as well as the very specific medical tending that you can do once they amp it up and make it better. Like they say they have a healing gun, but what about more pens? What about different ailments that happen to people? I can't wait for that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of stuff I'm hyped. So I'm making this video here, right, about the good and the bad. It's not all negative that I'm going to go through. So while I generally didn't enjoy the bugs and a lot of the issues that were happening, I did enjoy a few of the little glimpses into the future that they gave us. It was nice to see, and it's really something to get hyped about. And while I didn't like the fact that the Bengal sapped my frame rate and everyone else around it, I did enjoy looking through a Javelin that they crafted very intricately for us to see. Anyways, guys, that's my little rant. I want you guys to enjoy that expo, have fun, and if you have something to say in the comments, go for it. You guys take care, and I'll see you then.